Okay. Hey guys. Today I just want to take a look at an old photo I shot a few years back when I was shooting on my Canon T3 setup. I purchased some strobes, and basically being self-taught. Anybody who's taught themselves anything, it's basically trial and error. There's a lot of practicing. There's a lot of throwing things against the wall to see if they'll stick. And so this was one of those situations where I was trying to figure out what that would look like, you know. So I was basically here at my home. I have a studio upstairs that I work from, office/studio, and sometimes I would work in the garage because it was the only other space where I could open up my umbrella, use my strobes, and basically just, you know, play and practice, have some fun. So this is one of the shots that I came up with then, and this is one of the shots that I like to share because of that reason. So let me hop right into this thing and see what I have here. So this isn't straight out of the camera. This has been processed a little bit in Photoshop, but I do have a shot that I have that is straight out of the camera. And so this is what it looked. This is the way it looked when I pulled it straight out of the camera. As you should see here, it's shot at ISO 100, 54 millimeters, f5.6 at 1/200th of a second. Sorry. Let me get it. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna drink the water. It's been a long day. At 1/200th of a second. So let's hop right in here in the Lightroom. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click auto, just to see what the system can pull out of the darkness. And this backdrop that I'm standing in front of is something that I thrifted. I love the pattern. I love the texture. It caught the light really well. And if I were wearing a period piece, some type of maybe a suit, an ornate suit or something, I could probably pass as I don't know, a Rembrandt or something. So I like the light. That is actually called Rembrandt lighting. I just really like the way that the ridge of this hoodie caught the light and basically kind of carved my face out from the background. I love the fall off of the strobe and the umbrella that I was using. Everything came off really well. Because of the small sensor size of the Canon T3, there is a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise in the shadows. And with Lightroom, I'm gonna see if I can clean that up and see if I can get back to where I was, or maybe if I can find something better. Maybe I could do something better than what I did the first time. And then I'm gonna post this again. Okay. The exposure, well, actually the color profile, I'm gonna go to camera standard, because camera standard, if you look immediately, it cleans up a lot of that. Let's say Adobe standard we had before, Adobe Color or whatever it was. It had so many more issues. But then this actually brings back more tonality, more color, and it kind of just, you know, brings a holistic nature to the whole image, into the entire image. All right, I like that exposure. I like how much light is here in the scene, but then actually I'm really pull it back down, because what I also want to do is I want this haunted feeling. I want this kind of this feeling like I had before of a person just kind of just of a figure just pops off the background just ever so subtly. I don't want it to be too in your face. I just want it to appear as if the figure and the background are just you know, just pulling apart from each other just ever so slightly. I like where the contrast is. I like where auto put the contrast, but I'm gonna still play with the contrast to see what that does. Okay, alright, not too much. Okay, so the level of the highlights, I like this highlight on the side of my face. I like it on my nose. It still has texture in those places, so I'm not gonna mess with that. The same thing for my hand, but it appears that instead of the camera hitting focus on my face, I believe that my hand is actually where it hit critical focus, my forearm. But I think at that time, I didn't have a trigger or anything. So what I was doing was, I was setting up like a dummy object, and then I would focus on the dummy object, and then I would move it, put the timer on the camera, and run back and forth to get the shot. So that's how I was taking these photos. So I like the black level. All right, what are the highlights? Play with the highlights. I do like the highlights because I really want that side of my face to really come forward, to be the focal point. Okay. Shadows are fine. Whites, blacks is fine. They're fine. I could pull the black up just a little bit because I want that soft, subtle glow, just this haunting glow. Clarity. I'm gonna bump the clarity just a little bit because it's gonna make the image pop just a little bit, and then dehaze. If you have the dehaze slider, you know the power of dehaze. So what it's done in that just sliding from 0 to 55, as you can see it's brought the light down in the background just a little bit, but then it clarified the details in the background. I mean, it clarified the details in the background. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it clarified the details in the background so much. But I don't want to play with the color that much. The vibrance, bring the vibrance down. I don't want the color so vibrant, right? I don't want it to be, I really want it to be just kind of a solid situation. Same with the saturation. Actually, saturation -4. I like the saturation at -4. Alright, so I'm gonna close this. And now that was in the basics tab. Curve. Now, I could put a medium contrast on it, but let's see what that does. It brings us too close to where we were before, and I think I'm gonna do that last. Like the linear. I think I'm gonna do that last if all else fails. Now again, I don't want to mess with the colors at all. So hue saturation slide, I'm gonna skip that altogether. Split toning in the shadows. I do think I want more blue in the shadows, but just subtly. I think I want a subtle blue-green in the shadows, but just ever so slightly, just be almost impossible to tell. Saturation, no, bring the saturation back, and then pull the balance back toward the highlight, and put the saturation up. So already this is becoming something completely different than it was before. It's already becoming something different. Okay. Alright, so I have a lot of red in my skin tone. So adding blue to the hoodie actually separates me from the hoodie just a little bit more. And it adds a little bit of I want to say a bit of the dimension to it. I don't know. Right now I'm just kind of spitballing with this thing. I don't have a real clear plan as to what I want to do with it, but I know that I am going to push my sharpening to about 80. When I first started working with Lightroom, I would always push my sharpening like to the maximum, all the way to the end, to 100. But it's completely unnecessary. Yeah, that's completely unnecessary. Alright. So now, what we have going on here is we have a good feel. We still have all of this noise in the shadow. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the luminance slider over. and I like to use 50. 50, it seems to be a sweet spot for me. I mean, because I could pull it back just a little bit and give it just that speckle, that soft speckle in the shadow. Yeah, I like that. It's really starting to clear up. Okay. The detail 50. Yeah, normally I push my luminance all the way up. And this is a slider that I really have begun to enjoy. This is the color noise slider. So sometimes in the colors, like at the back of my hand, I don't know if you guys can see this on your monitor, but in the back of my hand, because I'm going through this variation in color, there are like red splotches, blue splotches, teal splotches of color that it doesn't look right. So I like to bring my color slider over to 50, and then at least in these areas, if there's any noise, all of the noise is monochromatic. It's like a black and white, but the noise is still there. But I mean, we've cleaned this image up so much. If you can see the difference, just jumping back and forth, where there was this red haze through the shadows. With a few slides, we've really cleaned that up. Well, the power of Lightroom, I mean, if you haven't used it, you probably should. And then smoothness in the color. I'm just gonna bump my smoothness up to about 70. I mean, it just, it's just gonna do it a little bit better. And of course, the luminance can pull you up to about 30. And normally what it'll do is it'll just make some trouble areas go away, and then you'll be left with something really nice. Now, I took these pictures in my garage. Okay, so I have a off-white, gray concrete floor. So what I'm really enjoying from this is, as the light is coming down from the umbrella, it's bouncing off the floor and it's actually coming back up, and it's filling in some of the shadows, like underneath these curls in my tufts in my t-shirt here. I really do like that soft light. That's what it kind of reminds me of Rembrandt. He painted by a candle, but then he had these soft elements of light that shone through. And then lens correction is something I always do. I always like to add chromatic aberration, and I'm using this slider more now than I have done in the past, because I'm using Tamron lenses. I'm sorry, Tamron. I'm using Younguro lenses, and in areas of high contrast, there is a rainbow of chromatic aberration, and I just need to move up to a higher quality lens. And so I'm enabling my profile corrections, which I used the Tamron 18 to 200 this time. A great lens, and for you guys who didn't see it, every lens, no matter the quality of the lens, has barreling. And what it does is, because of the arc of the spherical lens, sometimes it creates a distortion where it's stronger in the center and less so to the outside. And so this is more true to life, as it were. And shooting at 54 millimeter, I mean, this is almost like a 50 millimeter shot. So, but shooting an APS sensor, I'm assuming it's more along the lines of 65 millimeter. Okay, and so this is what we've done. Let's see if we can take a look at this side by side. Oh, of course, this is where we started. This is where we are now. Didn't want to do that. I wanted to go from the original, but actually I made a copy of the copies. Should have known better. Okay, and so this is where we are now. Actually, that's probably the best way to go. This is what I produced the first time. I just dropped all of the colors. I bumped the contrast. I bumped the sharpness, and I got this real dark, gritty, real just a punchy high contrast image. And this is kind of like a mid-range image for me, because it's not really hyper stylized, right? The background is very clear. There's a lot of detail in it, and it's not something that I would really say ooh and ah about. I don't think that there's anything about it that would really speak to me. So what I would do now, like I said before, is I'm going to go back into tone control, the tone curve, and tone control Q, tone curve, and bump the contrast. Okay, and so what I've done now is I've created a greater separation between the darks and the highlights. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump the lights. I'm going to bump the lights a little bit and see how that does. Okay, that's overly dramatic. That's too soft. Bring that back to 0. Bump the darks again, or crush those blacks. Pull something out of the shadows. No, I don't like that. But what I want to do, I think, is play with the highlights again. Because what I was hoping to see was, I was really hoping to see that this will become like a sharper ridge of light that went through here, and then really kind of bumped up the light in the bottom. Alright, so let's see if I can turn down the shadows here. Now, this is something that I've learned to do with some of my images that I'm looking for greater dynamic range. I'll use the basic sliders. And then I'll also use the tone curve, because once you max out the shadows, let's say I max out bringing things out of the shadows in the basic slider, I'll also have shadows in the tone curve. So I mean, it gives you like beyond 100%, if you could imagine. So I like using that, but I probably, what I've done actually with the bringing stuff out of the shadows, I've actually kind of illuminated some stuff that I really want to illuminate a bit more. So I'm going to leave those shadows like that, and then pull the contrast up just a little bit to create just the darkness, because what I really want is, I want this eye to be something in the dark. Right, so this eye is in the light a little bit, but then I want this eye to be something in the dark. Boom. Alright, so let's see if I can cool this off a little bit. See what happens if I cool this whole image off just a little bit. So I'm bringing the light temperature onto the cool side, and I think that's what I was trying to do when I put the blue into the, that's what I was trying to do when I put the blue into the, yeah. Okay, alright. And then the only thing I'll probably do is use saturation, and then bump the red up. And so now we have a solid, and the green, where's the green? Now we're dealing with this solid RGB situation now. Yeah, there we go. We're dealing with a solid RGB situation now. Alright, well, I'm kind of done with it. The only other thing I could probably do is just bring this into Photoshop, do some sharpening, maybe do some skin retouching or something like that. I mean, this isn't even a final work. This is just a run through basically of Lightroom and probably some of the tools. I didn't need to do anything with the transform effects. We could do vignetting. We could kind of stretch our images. Maybe you caught it on the wrong angle and you just wanted to correct it. You can do that here. Effects, like I said before, you can add grain, something like that, adds a little grain to it. Once I cleaned it up a little bit too much. Just give it that grainy effect. I think that goes well with this image. And then of course there's a vignetting. A bright vignette probably would be really good, but this slightly dark vignette, bringing all of the lights back toward the middle, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. I think I'm gonna leave that in. Alright. So that's pretty much it. I mean, this is for all intents and purposes just a test for you anyway. So that's it, guys. There you have it. I'll holler at you later, man. Creative powers for creating images. Bye bye.